Welcome back to your outlet for outdoors and Western lifestyle, The Ben Show. I am your host, Rebecca Warner, a.k.a. Beck, right along shotgun, my co-host, Jeff Tigger Earhart. Those of you that have followed along with the show know that I just recently came back from a trip out to Utah where I visited Zion National Park. But what was extra special about this trip, not that it was just a girls' trip, but was something that I gave a try to that I had never tried before. We've talked about them on our show, but I've never actually gotten to try one. That was e-bikes. Game changer.
You said that was the highlight of your trip.
E-bikes were by far the highlight. Us gals, by the way, averaged an age of the oldest girlfriend of mine, she was 51, down to the youngest friend was 20. And all four of us came back. At first, we were a little speculative. My oldest friend, she was a little hesitant. She was like, I don't know if I'm okay with this. I don't know if I'm going to like this. But once we got on them and just even toured around the town of Springdale, Utah, which is at the beginning of Zion National Park where we rented the bikes, she right away was like, I can do this. I can totally do this.
So was it a little tricky to get the hang of it? Because I know you have to just kind of slowly just keep pedaling, even though it doesn't charge from pedaling. You have to kind of just keep pedaling. Was it hard to get the hang of it at first?
Not really. I mean, the only thing is that e-bikes are a little heavier, okay? They're a little heavier. So if you're starting out on an incline, one of my girlfriends, she's a bit shorter than what I am. She was having a little bit of problems, but then we realized that the e-bikes we were renting actually had an assist where you could give yourself a little boost to kind of turbo take off, and then it wasn't so hard for her to do so. But the bikes are heavier, so you want to make sure you stay fairly stable, if that makes sense. But honestly, from an operational standpoint, very easy to use. And just like you said, Tigger, all e-bikes are a little different, but the ones that we used, you had to continue pedaling, but you did not have to continue pedaling fast or hard. It was only as much as you wanted to give. And then that e-bike would on its own automatically engage.
And that was the trick, right? To engage, you had to slowly just kind of keep pedaling.
And I'm talking, I went very slow, just like a nice stroll went on a Sunday walk. I just went nice slow, but the e-bike, actually, the ones we had gear. So you could go up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when you were cruising at 5, you were really cruising.
So they have a charge. How long did that charge last? That when you rented them in the morning, they were fully charged. Did that go throughout the day, or did you have to stop at a charging station along the trip halfway through and give yourself another charge?
Our bikes were a full day rental, and we did stop to do some very nice hikes throughout. So, of course, there was some downtime. But all four of us, when we returned our bikes, we had only used, there's like 4 lights on it to tell you how much battery you have. We'd only used like 1. So we had plenty of battery. Now, I do have some friends that own a pair of e-bikes, and they've gone out and they have said where there's, how do I put this? It depends on how long you go. They went a lot further and went, I think they said
maybe
they did
some inclines.
They did like 30 miles. I mean, it was an extreme bike ride, and the one individual didn't bike very much to save power on the battery, and he ended up having to actually pedal all the way home the last 3 miles. So
I thought that this was a really, really neat idea that I don't know who it was that came up with this. If it was
did.
You came up with this idea for you guys. I thought this was a great idea for you to be able to see a lot more terrain versus hiking or taking the shuttle buses around, because like you said, in the bus, you're just visiting and you don't get a chance to see the landscape. But I was doing a little research on, everybody's wondering, well, when you pedal, doesn't that charge the battery?
No.
No, it doesn't. I was doing some research, and I think that there are some bikes out there that do that, but they are not common at all because they are not very efficient. The input that you have to put into the bike to charge the battery is so much more than the output of the actual battery propelling the bike. which is why they go to a charging station. Does that make sense?
Yes, you've got that correct there, Tigger. And we might not have everything absolutely set in stone on how we're saying it. We're not salespeople for e-bikes whatsoever.
Right. We'll
So
try some though if anybody has some.
Exactly. We'll put that disclaimer. We're not selling e-bikes, but we are giving a thumbs up to trying them and giving them a use, especially in these national parks, because this is what it came down to. Us gals, when I brought this idea up, in case you missed the last show, I never knew that Zion National Park didn't allow you to drive through with your own vehicle. I'm used to Yellowstone, Glacier, just to give some good examples where you drive
and get out and
you
pet
get
the fluffy
mad.
cow.
Yeah, you get mad at the vehicle in front of you and it's stopping. Here, Zion, because there's limited parking within that national park, they have a very, very well orchestrated shuttle system that takes you around to all the various outlooks, different hikes. And that's why I found out my research before going that e-bikes were extremely popular in order to see the park in an efficient way and not have to sit on that shuttle bus. I like to visit, so that's where immediately, to me, it seemed like a no-brainer to rent the e-bikes, because otherwise I'll sit on a shuttle and I will visit not just with the gals I'm with, I'll also visit with everybody
Bus
around
driver
them
and everybody, yeah.
because I want to know where they're from and what they're there for. I'm that type of a person, a very friendly individual. The e-bikes forced you to slow down and take in the scenery all around you,
just
which
be
was
in
majestic.
the environment. Now, the e-bikes I know have gotten very popular with a lot of hunters, especially
fly fishermen.
Yeah, fly fishermen, the guys and gals that are bow hunters, because they're so darn quiet. Last episode when we were talking about pheasant hunting and we talked about stealth a little bit, they become very popular for those individuals that are going into the backcountry because they are so darn quiet. I know that you can get two-wheel drive. They're two wheels, right? Yeah, two-wheel drive where the front one drives as well. I want to say four-wheel drive, but it's two-wheel drive.
I know, you're trying to wrap your mind around the right kind of...
I'm trying to grasp this thing, but...
But no, that's absolutely correct. They are extremely quiet. The other nice feature about them is they're not leaving out any emissions, so it's not like the wildlife can smell you coming, your exhaust from your vehicle, as well as the bikes aren't like your typical mountain bike. However, you can get the snow bikes and such with the wide fat tires. These ones we rented also had the nice wide fat tires, so you really felt like you were more stable on it. And our bikes that we rented had a basket on the back of it that held our gear easily with one of those cargo nets over the top of the basket, so everything was secure. One of the features also that we loved was just the simplicity that you could park anywhere, because some of these towns, when you go to national parks, you know yourself, good luck finding a parking spot. It becomes very congested. So then you're stuck at one spot. And we found out when we got back with our entire day, after our entire day of seeing Zion, we just tootled around with our e-bikes because they didn't have to be back until a certain time of the day. And we were able to scoot around and park anywhere. And it was just a lot of fun. I will also throw this out there for those of you that maybe have kids or in college or going to college soon. The gal that was with us, she's 20. She goes to MSU, Montana State University in Bozeman. She immediately, that was the highlight of the trip, was using these e-bikes. And she was already pitching at her mom that for her birthday and Christmas, this would really come in handy to get to
Going
school.
to class.
Yeah, she's like, Mom, do you know how nice this would be? I mean, this is all I need to get from my apartment over to the campus.
So just kind of landing this thing, my last question for you about the e-bikes, and I don't think I even asked you this when you come back from the vacation. Do you feel that having the e-bikes, you are a lot more efficient in your short time that you had there at the park, that you were more efficient of seeing everything?
100%. There was never any waiting in lines, waiting for other people. Efficiency, absolutely. Give them a try the next time you have an opportunity to rent one. Give it a try. I mean, like I said, we're not trying to sell them, but at least rent them and give it a try. It's a no-brainer, and I think your whole family will be on board and do a thumbs up, and you won't hear that, "Are we done yet?" Head to our website, thebendshow.com. Again, that's thebendshow.com, as I will post photos of the e-bikes that we rented, along with all the rental information we used. We used Zion Guru out of Springdale, Utah to go see Zion National Park, and everything will be right there for you to check it out. All right, we're going to take a short break, crew. We come back. We're going to let you know about a trend that's happening at weddings right now. You're listening to The Ben Show.